Welcome friends to another 40k video. Today we look at Dark City by Chris Wraight and the possible xenos origins of the Golden Throne of mankind, or at least part of the Golden Throne. You'll see what I mean. Why is the throne failing? Because it is. And how long till the Imperium might fall? Friends, let's find out. A group including Inquisitors and Adeptus Custodes are shown a schematic of the Golden Throne by the Fabricator General of Mars and the many levels of the device that are around the throne. It shows how the energy needed by it has increased since it was created. Part of the throne, the Areopia junction, is highlighted. It allows someone of human size to sit on the throne. And within that part of the mechanism, those watching are shown runes, Eldar runes. The core of the throne is not human in origin, they are told, and the throne is failing, becoming less efficient. Though power to it has increased, they've been unable to find a solution, and within 537 years at worst, or a century or two, that part of the throne and the throne itself will fail, and Holy Terror and the Imperium of mankind without the Astronomicon will also fall. So Mars has been negotiating with someone to help with this. They've been negotiating with the Dark Eldar for a solution. So Mars is offering the Dark Eldar a system of 19 billion souls, and they defend themselves somewhat, at least in their eyes, by saying that they have negotiated them down from what was initially asked for. The dwarf says the Dark Eldar know humanity holds back the darkness, which is why they want to help them. The Dark Eldar have been shown the interface that is used on the throne for the Emperor to be able to use it, and they can replace what has been lost or damaged as part of it. A custodian says, can they trust the information? The dwarf says the innermost parts of the chamber around the throne are drenched in the warp, so perception changes depending on the thoughts and character of the observer. But what they are shown, therefore, is how Mars perceives it. He thinks it is likely true. An Inquisitor, Crowl, meets the Dark Eldar. And in the conversation, they reveal that they can bring someone back with just one drop of blood. The Xenos says humans once lived and now they just exist. The Dark Eldar then goes on to say that the Emperor did not make the throne, but adapted it from several older races, and says the Emperor is not needed by the machine. I think we can dispute that due to the interaction layer that was discussed just before, even though it is not part of the initial throne design. It's told to us that the Dark Eldar will be given information so they can check the throne part will work when it's added to the greater machine, and Mars will then check it further before trying installation under the Dark Eldar's instructions, showing here Mars and the general lack of innovation that they have. And so those two parties begin the negotiation. Cowl works out their plan, what they're really after. The Dark Rift has invaded the Dark Eldar city of Comorra, and so millions of thralls help make an immense throne, a replica of the Golden Throne on Terra, and they need it to push back the warp. So this Black Throne, as the book tells it, is woven around with eldritch runes and psychic connectors larger than any Xenos could ever have sat in, already bursting with contained energies even before the machine was fully operational. And Cal also works out that they need one drop of the Emperor's blood to replicate him and activate their throne. Back at the negotiation, we are told the testing of the mechanisms to fix the throne will take place before those gathered there so that they can see the work and make sure that it's safe. Cal returns to the negotiations and says the real reason for the meeting. The throne guards against destruction. It holds back the flood. It is the last, the best shield against the ruin of the universe. And he says the throne is useless to the Dark Eldar unless they create an emperor of their own. He says, just a shell, an agonized lump of flesh and mind, enough to fool the interfaces and channel its dormant psychic energy. It would be an abomination, a mockery, and a blasphemy. But it would have his blood within it, his gene patterns, and a foul copy of his immortal strength. Nothing else will do. It is the only thing they require. Be no doubt, they would move the heavens themselves to achieve it. So fighting breaks out. The custodians destroy the tech Mars was going to share, and nothing is exchanged. Cal says to his aide, Spinoza, that Terra must be warned of the failing throne. Xenos finds Cal, and Spinoza leaves them. And Cal says to the Dark Eldar that life is something to twist and break, but he says humanity will endure, they won't be ghouls from a long-gone galaxy. And with those words, Cal activates a gate that kills them both. Spinoza had to get the message out. But who would she tell? Who would believe her? She moves through the webway, reaches for the gate to leave, and falls. And then we don't see what happens after that. The book jumps to an epilogue, where on a Xenos world we are shown a servo skull that was with Spinoza. It has little power, but just repeats the same word, which I'll try to pronounce, summum recorda, but there was no one to hear it. Perhaps this is her attempt at getting the message out. She may be through the portal, but we're not really told anymore. So now, friends, I turn this over to you. What do you think this means for the throne and the Imperium at large? Will the books follow up on this point? I certainly hope so. And should Mars have trusted the Dark Eldar at all? I really don't think they should have. Comment down below.